What's up, everybody? Yeah! Oh my God. So exciting. Welcome to Share Show episode 0. We're calling this episode We Have No Idea What We're Doing. All right, and I'm Jeff, and we're going to bring Alex in to see us for the absolute first time. Alex, come on in, buddy. Here, you're gonna want to come around this way.
Gotcha.
And be careful of this. All right, let's see. We've never actually even seen how this looks, so we can like get in close. We can come back.
The back is good.
I'll be up like this.
I like the back. You be front. Okay.
Dude, I got it. So we have a little theme music. It's a little bit chill, something happening. All right, so this is Share Show. I mean, how do you feel about what's going on here right now?
Great.
Okay.
Very comfortable.
So let's talk about this. This is an idea.
I hate being able to see myself, just so you know.
Okay. It's rough. It is really rough to look at yourself. Jeez. So we've had this idea forever, right? And it's like a way for us to talk about what we talk about, but like bring everybody else in, like have ideas happen and talk about them and stuff. And honestly, we could not be more excited to, I don't know, just like figure this thing out on the fly. Is that maybe a decent way to say it?
That's great. Yeah, I think kind of all started when going through some life things, and we were meeting for whiskey and chatting. I was like, we should be recording this. And then one thing led to another.
And now we're millionaires.
Now we actually are.
Yeah, no, we're doing it right. And now we're super famous.
So, like, actually doing something. Like, we talked about it, and it's actually happening. That's not nothing.
That's rare. I agree. I feel like we should be let's look at each other through the.
Oh, I'm only looking at you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not looking at me. Straight eye contact with
Bob.
yourself.
So yeah, man. So we don't know what we're doing. We're probably gonna fail miserably for many, many episodes. But at least we felt like let's do this in front of everybody, show that it's like possible at least, and worth giving it a try. So the main thing with this is if you we're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff, and we want to hear from you as well. So if you have comments, you can leave them in the comment section. We'll address them in the next episode. You can email us at jeff@theshareshow.com. We're on Instagram, although we don't have anything up there right now, so it's ridiculous. And then we're actually going to be able to call people video chat through our little monitor up there. Did you even notice that?
That's weird. I noticed the monitor, but yeah.
I mean,
thought it was just for logo aesthetics.
No.
It's awesome, by the way.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's alright for now. We'll maybe change it. Whatever.
So they can call in.
So yeah.
Write in with anything, right? Anything they want to share, talk about, get into.
Totally. And because there's so many things, like if you think about, we talk about all the time, like when it comes to very specifically like AI happening right now, and not only like the good parts and the bad parts of it, or obviously everything political and whatever. We don't want to take a stand one way or the other on anything, because it's, everything is absolutely, this might get too much. Everything just becomes kind of overload and like dogmatic and whatever, and it's like instead like just have a chat on all the sides of it. I don't think that's what I meant to say. It's just like
unbiased conversation, right?
Yeah, like the goods and the bads, and really just seeing everything as best we can for what it is, as opposed to like digging into here's what sucks and like using that as kind of clickbaity stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know. You want to jump in with that?
No, that makes sense. I think I like how you put it with other podcasts that people are talking and discussing issues, generally speaking, like the big ones out there, right? That you never get access to these people. You might like what they, and this is your words, I'm just
stop
using
copying
it for myself. But like you never get access to those people, right?
Right,
like,
exactly.
You might like their opinions or points of view, but here's a chance to like chat with real people about real stuff. We're not celebrities, we're not looking to talk to celebrities, just real life inspirational stories, mundane stories to you, advice, like the AI situation, like is it affecting your life and how and what are you scared of, and just get into it.
Right.
Like we both have differing experiences with life, and we can offer some pretty specific and general perspective on many fronts.
Dude, I agree, man.
But not an expert in any of the fields.
But we're dumb and have no idea.
But yeah, right.
All right, so let's start with the first part of the show, which is here's a little. Is it? Right. Yeah.
Of course, obviously.
Okay. I think pretty obviously. All right. So this part of the show is really just we talk about anything that's been happening this past week and kind of that we can share, like things that have been going on. Anything for you?
Well, I have something in the immediate room that I would like to ask a question about.
Hit me.
You have a picture on your wall that looks like your daughter drew that says, "You are not going to get me." That is terrifying to me. I would like a little bit of explanation before we continue in this room that I'm trapped in, though.
Right. Well, I think for our point of view as parents has always been just like, how can we terrify our kid as much as possible? Right.
Apparently it's worked. She was terrified that someone's going to get her.
I think that was like a game of hide and seek, man, and then she just wrote it and was like, hung it up.
That makes me feel a lot better. Okay.
But we also told her about monsters in the closet and
well, naturally.
made her feel really insecure about
like, get motivated.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to ask.
So yeah, there's that. Thanks for asking though.
Had to.
What was it? So yeah, so this past week, man, let's talk about like any new things, or I'll throw out one thing that I saw that I have feelings about, like, and I'm, like, you might, I don't know if you know about this, but like the Beast games, it's nothing new on Amazon. Have you watched that yet?
No.
Do you know anything about that or no?
Yeah, I've heard.
Dude, like, say what you want about Mr. Beast. There's like the love and the hate for that guy. How familiar are you with this generally?
Yeah.
But like started with like nothing, just got into YouTube, and then all of a sudden, like after 15 years of grinding, like really crushed it, and now is like the freaking premier expert.
Mm-hmm.
And he made this show, man, where it's like, I mean, say what you want about it because it's like so extreme in so many ways, but it like gets me so excited because it's like, if I had unlimited money, what would I do to make the coolest, most fun possible show? Like the craziest, like, and I can do anything I want. And it literally like comes through, and it's like so, I don't know. I guess I feel like pride for the dude. Just like, man, to be able to sit there and be like, man, I started with nothing and nobody cared, and now I'm like giving away millions to thousands of dudes. Like, I don't know. It just blew my mind, man.
I thought that same way with Pineapple Express, Seth Rogen and James Franco movie, when it's like they achieve that level of fame where the studio's just like, here, make something.
Yes.
And obviously no one saw that movie until it was released. They're like, okay, people are gonna watch it because they're in it, but there was clearly a blank check on, here, just do whatever you want. We trust you to do whatever you want.
Right. You know, they didn't pitch it and they're like, all right, we're going to make this weed movie that's like action and everyone's like, yeah,
they're
that
like,
sounds
fine, do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I mean, yeah, there's something about that like creative freedom to get past the point. Like, and I'll throw this out there. This is like a super old man thing to say, but I think there's truth to it. It's like, I'm a massive Rush fan.
Mm-hmm.
But are you weird that I'm only looking at you through the camera? Like every time you look over, I feel like I want to look over too, but maybe
I know,
weird.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm not. No, it's not weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm a massive Rush fan because my brother was and sister growing up, and anyway, they talk about they're like the first album that really broke was 2112, and how before that it was like it was a huge problem. They were probably not going to make anything happen. And in fact, it was like they had already made their album before was a complete tank. So like that wasn't working. Then they said, you better make something that's really accessible. And they were like, no, we're just going to do whatever we want. And they made this insane like prog rock album with like songs that are 12, 15 minutes long. I think the first one's even longer than that, the first side. And anyway, when they delivered it, the studio was like, what the hell, man? This is like whatever. And then it just exploded. Everybody loved it, word of mouth. It just became massive. But to the same point is like after they delivered it and it was huge and it was game changer that no one could have seen, then every album after that, whenever they delivered it, the studio couldn't say anything about it. They just had to be like, whatever it is, I'm taking it. Like we have no right to say anything. So the same thing like the Rogan thing or whatever.
Yeah, when you have that level of fame, achievement, but it's even better when you stick to your guns, right? And they're like, we know we're good enough. I don't want to just succumb to what we think is going to be popular.
Right.
Like, just continue to do what got you there.
Right.
And eventually it'll work. I mean, that's an extreme example, but, like, most cases, right? Just, especially in art, like, do what you want as an artist.
Yes.
And I always use Radiohead as an example for this. Like, they were just like, I don't care if you like this or not. This is what we're doing now.
Right.
Like, every time people came along for the ride, because it was just pure unfiltered art, right? Like, just whatever they want to do, again, no one's telling them how to do this, what to do with it, anything. It was just, they just trusted them, just like you said. Like, that's the best way, rather than, like, Coldplay's my antithesis to the Radiohead, where they went, okay, what does everyone like to hear? That's what we'll do from now on.
Right.
And because they were, like, kind of neck and neck. Don't kill me for saying that, but, like, for a minute, in, like, 2000, right?
Yeah.
And then they both went completely different. Coldplay, very successful, of course, but, like, they clearly are just doing what everybody wants.
Mm.
And that's you can be successful and do that, but they're like, I'm not going to roll down the street playing their album. I'd be embarrassed.
Right.
Because the art isn't real, I don't think, but I'd blare a Radiohead album because and I don't care if you like it or not, because that's just, it's real, it's raw, it's authentic, and you have to pick an avenue, unfortunately, it seems like, anymore.
Yeah, I'll devil's advocate that, because I'm not sure, because...
No, it's a perfectly said, argued statement.
Oh, right.
But try, go ahead.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
No, because here's the thing. Like, I'm not saying I'm a massive what'd you say?
Radiohead?
No, the other one.
Coldplay?
Yeah, I'm not like a massive Coldplay fan, but I don't know that you can label it that everything they're doing... Maybe I'll say it like this. Like, it's like, you have to, like you said, you have to follow what you think is right, and be willing to be insanely not connecting with anybody. Like, I would say fail, but it's really not a fail, but like commercially fail. You have to risk that for sure. Mm-hmm. And the chances are way more likely that you following what you think is good is not going to lead you to success, but it will lead you to you being real. Like, it's like us making this, right? Sure. Like probably no one will ever see that this will get one view from my mom or whatever. Like, that's the reality. But at least we believe it, and we're pumped about this. Yeah. It's gonna be like great. Right. But you can easily reduce this to being like, well, it's just like blah blah blah, this that, but whatever. And my concern would be like, okay, obviously, like I agree, I love Radiohead too, but it's like, is that just our perspective that it's like that's how we feel? And maybe if you could dig in on like Coldplay, maybe they were taking some chances from their point of view that, like, I don't know. I mean, and it's hard to evaluate because there's so much like bias to it. There's no way to get out of your own point of view on it to be like, unless you're them, to be like, are they literally sitting there in the studio being like, what does everybody want? We're going to deliver it. Or are they like, we think this is great shit, even though it might be cheesy, or whatever. I mean, yeah. Well, arguably even Rush like has tons of cheesy songs, and in my estimation, I don't like it at all. But then at the same time, there's some songs that are so like groundbreaking that I'm like, wow, these are amazing. And there's some people that hate them, whole cloth, think that they're terrible. So it's really hard to evaluate it,
Well, it's, I mean, all I have is my perspective, right? Like, I don't.
Right.
That's why we're here, right? Like, that's what I think about both those bands. I know there's a huge contingent that agrees, and a huge contingent, probably even bigger, that disagrees, right? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that the other day, like the I'm the worst, I'm the best, they're the worst, the best. Like, there's that duality in you that, like, you believe both of those things.
Right.
Not at the same time, but it's true, like you said, all the time. It's true. Like, you are the best employee and the worst, or partner, or father, or whatever it is. Totally. Those things exist in you, and someone's going to think that about you. Someone's going to think completely the opposite. It's their perspective, right? And that's all they have.
Right.
So then it's like, generally speaking, like, what's the general public like, which is not usually what I like. But it's popular because that's general, right? That's the majority likes it. Then, but Radiohead has those people that like Radiohead usually aren't the general public, right? They want real art. And there's a contingent of that, and that's what you weigh as an artist, right? Which way do you go? And how hard do you lean in one way or another?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I'll dig into, because I want to talk about what you brought up about the whole that we are everything, because it's like that's so this is like so on my mind in such a heavy way, when it comes to looking at like and I know we've talked about this a bunch, but like this idea that it's like quantum computing and superposition, and that on a very basic molecular level, these particles are in two places at the same time. That's I'm really this is like stupid monkey talk, like very reductionist, but like that idea that in a base position, the particles are in two places simultaneously, and that everything we look at, if you really look at it, is in fact everything, like you said, like where music is great and terrible, art that you create is garbage and fantastic. We are the heroes and the villain all at the same time, and all that there really is the perspective of the people putting a narrow frame on it, being like, no, you are the hero, and we're all fighting to like set that frame. No, I'm a good guy. No, I'm smart. No, I'm sexy. No, I'm rich, or whatever the thing is. When in reality, you're all the things. You're rich and poor. You're sexy and ugly. And just accepting that that's true. The true is everything, and then that you can let go of like trying to fight for that frame and just be like, it doesn't matter. I'm all of the things, and however you perceive it is.
Well,
go ahead.
Right. No, that was beautifully said, and I think that that's only true when you're looking at it from other people's perspective, right? Like someone's going to view you as a great employee. Someone's going to view you as not so great. Someone's going to view you as a great partner or not so great.
Yes.
Like it's, but then that shapes your own view of yourself, which is hard to shake, right? But if you can get to the point of like, I know that's all true.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful place. I don't know many people, if anyone, that can.
Dude.
But that's a beautiful place to get to. And I think that's where, like, back to the art conversation, if you could pair that with, there is, like, I don't care what anybody thinks about this. That's when you can make something truly great.
Yeah.
You know you're going to get the pushback. It's different. It's new. It's whatever. And you're like, people aren't going to get this. But I'm just going to blow through that because I think this is a great thing. And I'm going to trust myself as an artist in whatever capacity that is. And then hope that it's well received or not. Like, there's going to be times where you're tested to say, like, you're using Rush as an example, they're going to be very happy to hear their name so much on this. But, like,
hi, Geddy Lee.
Yeah, but that's they just stuck. Tell Me Spoon was the same way. The amazing band's been around for 40 years and they're just crushing it still, but had very hard start. And they just said, no, we know we're going to do something great.
Right.
And they stuck to their guns and did it. You know?
Right. Yeah, man. It takes balls, dude, because you have to. Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to be validated that the art that they're making is good, and the only way to make good art that I've seen is exactly what you're saying, which is you have to unhinge yourself from the value of it, because it's going to be shit and fantastic,
exactly, and
just be like this. All the value is making it. And that, there's such a beauty in that, man. It's like really, that gets to me. I love that. So much.
And how many people wouldn't do it because of the fear of putting it out there, right? Like that could be how many people have something amazing that they can do that they're just like terrified to put out there, and they don't. Right. And you'll never see it. You'll never know what it was or is or could be. Right. And all these things are just somebody just did it. Right. Everything. The iPhone, the computer, the car, someone just did it, right? And then it's like just a thing we do now. Like, right. But that could have been anything. Right. That would have been just something else if it wasn't that. Right. And that's why anybody's idea is like just it's worth pursuing, but everyone's just kind of piggybacking on what's already been done. Right? There's not a lot of true new stuff out there. It's just like a better version of this or a different way to think about that, which is understandable. But I want to see something like just new to everybody kind of thinking was.
Yeah, man. That's like there's that Steve Jobs quote where he's like, he's saying the same type of thing where he's like, if you push into the edge of the universe, like the edge of what everybody does, it'll push back. Like this is all just a construct and we can shape it. You can change it. You can push it out there and do something different. Right. And it's so hard that we're all trapped into thinking this is what it is when this is just like just randomly what it turned into, but it doesn't have to be this at all.
It's all constructs that are real. none of it's real. It was all created.
Right.
To now that's just what people do and how they live their lives, and time and money and relationships and all the things. None of it's real.
Right.
But we think that's how we have to function. And then when you apply that again to art, I don't know why that's the theme, but it seems appropriate. When you apply that to art, it's like people are like, oh, I can do something like that. I could do that. It's like, well, no.
Right.
Do something what you want to do.
Right. You can never do that.
Why? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, I love that. Like how did Mick Jagger write, Under My Thumb or whatever it is. It's people are always, there's like a lot of podcasts or shows that are like, no, what were you thinking? It doesn't matter. You'll never be able to do it.
Right.
Never.
Right.
And not that you do something that won't be as good. It'll just be totally different because that kind of like, how do you create this amazing thing?
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. An inventor, a business person, a musician, an artist to any degree, they can never explain that thing that they're really good at. It will never be, and it shouldn't be.
Right.
You shouldn't try to get there and like duplicate a Rolling Stone song or this song or that.
Right.
Do your thing, and if the world's aligned, then it'll work. But
right. If you have the luck, real. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like the crazy. Yeah, man. It's I have along those lines. I have such an issue with like the term best practices, and that's in like every form, right? And like because along those lines and that thinking, which I agree on, it's completely true. Whenever you're following, like, I'm making music, so what are the best practices in making a song? I'm going to follow, like, what this guy did and that guy did. It leads you down the completely wrong path. It feels comforting because you're like, oh, well, they did it, so clearly that's the right thing to do. They used a click track. They they auto-tuned their this. That. And you feel like, okay, well, at least I checked the boxes of the guy that was successful. Mm-hmm. But in reality, like you're saying, it's like the only path to success is going into the darkness of, like, not what everybody else is doing, but what's authentic to you and like what you just think is right about the thing that you're doing that may or may not lead you to success, versus putting on the warm blanket of best practice, and then you're just like, well, I can't argue about what I did. No one could argue with me because I did what they did, but that's not the path to. You're just creating like redundancy in the thing potentially. But then simultaneously, just like that superposition, everything is inherent in the same thing. I'm friggin' talking crazy now, but you know what I mean? Like, while best practice is totally wrong in that scenario, then there's also the best practice that's like, well, you need to know the basics and you need to understand fundamentals. And so it's really, it's interesting how it's like, we have to, I think what's wrong about where we're going, how people talk about shit, is that it's like, there's a truth. This is the truth. It is, don't listen to anything and just be authentic and or like just follow the best practices and you're not like, yeah. And neither of those are really right. It's like the truth is somewhere in the middle of this, and how hard that is to describe to somebody who's like trying to do something, starting a business. We'll have to do an episode on starting businesses. Both Alex and I started a business, and even that alone, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to do what everybody did in that regard? Are you going to like follow what your instincts are, and then people can, bitch at you, and your failures can be attributed to not following the best practices? But hey, those failures could be just as likely because you did the right thing, you followed your authentic thing, and it just wasn't meant to work. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's such a difficult.
Yeah, well, now you're applying like corporate jargon to like the creative world, right? Which I'm not. That happens, but like that's a good point on like because I've been in the corporate world a long time, and when you start to let's use best practice as an example. Yeah, you're using that based on obviously somebody else created, or so you're following guidelines, and then you're getting to the point of, okay, I don't personally think the old way of doing business works anymore, right? So you see layoffs, you see how do we cut costs, those things are band-aids because you just are inefficiently running your business, whatever that is anymore, because it doesn't work like that anymore. So you've been applying best practice in every meeting I've ever been in, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like you're just following somebody else's footsteps who's also going to falter, and also just created at some point that probably doesn't make sense anymore. No one's like willing to take it on to change it, to adapt to what it looks like today. Right. And they're just following people off the cliff. Right. And but doing their, having a viable business that's running efficiently, that's not the problem.
Right,
We
right.
need to cut costs. We need to do all these things. I'm like, well, if you're running the business well, you don't have to do those things. But now you're a dinosaur, antiquated, move along, get out of the way.
Totally.
Right, but they have so much money and power and influence that they can stick around through those times and just bulldog it until they figure it out because they're financially set up to do it, but they're standing in the way of the future, right? And somebody else that can do it better than you, but doesn't have the money and the power and the influence.
Right.
So where's that give and present the opportunity for the new, whatever it is to enter the market?
Right.
It's
And then they get buried, right? Yeah, and you might have said this, so forgive me if I missed it, but like, it is so hard to talk and then also be looking at yourself while you're talking. It's like crazy.
Oh, I love it now. I'm totally into it now.
Do you like
it's
it?
the only way I'm gonna, yeah.
Are you really like into
Yeah,
it?
I am.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was terrified at the beginning, but...
Yeah, it's like getting pretty more normal. But no.
But you get to look at me. That's way better. So
That's true.
That's gotta be calming.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I mean, I can put like a mask over. No, but like the root of that issue is the ego, like covering your ass mentality of, if I follow the best practice, even though it's not the best thing, I can justify it because everybody else does it, and then there's no way that it can be argued versus trying to do something new where if it doesn't work and there's a likelihood of that happening, then yeah, so it's
all on you.
It's really, I mean, and that's the crossover, like you even brought up, like the crossover between business and art and creativity. There is a unifying factor, which is how, I'll try to say this, I'll probably say it wrong. Like, how strong are you in being you? You know, like in believing in yourself and being authentic to yourself. And whether that's business or whether that's creativity, it's all the same thing. It's like, do you believe your point of view in this continuum, your little sliver, has legitimate value, even if nobody else can see it, and is worth fighting for? And there, I don't know, there's something like when you dig it into that like small of a sliver that applies to everything, there's something like fundamentally true there that I love it.
Yeah, and I think not everyone's cut out to do something entrepreneurial or otherwise, right? They're in the corporate world, they're doing their thing, and that's it for them, and they're great.
Right.
You know, there's a place for that. Certainly, I think you and me aren't that necessarily or think that way, but I can appreciate it for sure. Like the go to work, come home, it's not on your mind. You can do your hobby, you do your thing, and it's just not there. And you got the people that are just every second of the day thinking about whatever their work, their art, their whatever. It's just constantly on their mind. I mean, it's all spectrum. Everyone's different.
Totally. Well, but so I think about that a lot too, because even I was questioning whether I was going to go here, but like even my siblings and me are very different in this regard. At the same kind of what you're talking about, and I think that the same holds true there, which is like if you are like authentically a corporate man, like if that gets you off and you love doing that kind of stuff, and the titles in it and all the like trappings of corporate life and stuff, if authentically that's you and you do it, then awesome. I mean, it's equally as artistically true as like you're saying, like you and me are more kind of creative, like artistic, like into entrepreneurial, whatever, however you want to say it. I think so again, it's kind of like you can put a value judgment on and I'm not saying you are, but you know, just looking at it, that same thing applies. That it's like even the person that just like routinely does the same thing and wants the structure of corporate and blah blah blah, if that's who they are and they like really vibe off of that, then great, like they should be doing that, of course. You know, great.
It's just hard for me when it's like that's just a manufactured environment, right? Like since the 30s probably or 50s, they're hiring for the same positions. Same kind of education, you're just filling a role, right? So, I mean, personally, I would need more outside of that to like be fully fulfilled, and that's just simply a money grab, right? Just simply, I make enough money doing this, great. But I mean, it's hard for me to imagine those people that are like passionate about this or that when that's just a flat out fabricated job title that you did not go to school for, like through like, you know, elementary, junior high, high school, that's never been on your radar, like you just want to be that thing, right, whatever it is in the corporate world, let's say. then you go to college and you're like, okay, this makes sense to focus on this for practical reasons. But again, that's such a job title you're filling, right? That's been in existence for ever now, and you're just going to step into the role until after someone else and before someone else does. But like when you talk about like the creative art world, it's like you're that's brand new, right? That's your thing that you're doing. It might there are other iterations out there in the realm of what you're doing, but it's not like you're an accountant. You know, that's just you. You've just filling that role. You did not grow up truly wanting to like, and that's the kind of where I'm at in the culture today. Like that, but that is true for some people. Like I just want to be an accountant and do that. That's what I want to do. I'm like, okay, but that's just it's just crazy when that's just like a manufactured job title that has just been around. That now you think you want to do as your lifelong passion. It's like that's just hard for me to imagine. Personally,
yeah, I hear you. I like so. It's making me think there's two things. So the first is like, I feel like there's just as many inauthentic people trying to be accountants as authentic people trying to be accountants, as there is authentic people making music and inauthentic people making music. But what it makes me think of, and I almost want to see if we can call him and see if we can talk to him about this, because it made me laugh so hard, is so my buddy Gary, I might have talked to you about him. We had this massive argument about whether Back to the Future, this relates. It seems like it's not okay, but this relates. So whether Back to the Future is artistic, I think that's how he would describe it. I'm trying to articulate his argument. So from his point of view, Back to the Future is not art. He's saying Back to the Future is like commercialized, just a product and has no artistic value. I, on the other hand, am like, dude, it is one of the most, it's a landmark movie, and I get that there's elements of it that are very commercial, but it's part of culture now. I mean, the DeLorean and all these things that are just undeniable. And the story itself, which came out, you know, if you're putting yourself back at that time, didn't exist. As soon as it did, it was like insanely. So should we see if we can give him a call? Just so we can try this out as part of the thing and see if he'll talk about it.
Sure, I'll tell you my opinion. Okay, is that if absolutely it was, because if you look at it retroactively and say, okay, today, it seems manufactured and all that because of the commercial popularity.
Yeah.
But the art was making the movie, writing it, getting somebody to make it, and doing it, which was revolutionary at the time. That was the art. What came after the fact wasn't their fault. I mean, like, the commercial popularity and the toys and all the things that came along with it was just because it was so popular. But of course, it was art when it came out because it was new, right? It's like the Marvel movie now. I don't think is art because they're just following a recipe now, right?
Right.
So
well, this continue.
to just eat into the world more and more. But that started a trend. You know, not like it was a cash grab at the time. I don't feel that way at all because they didn't. It could have been a absolute flop.
Right. And so it's good, like I like that you went to the Marvel with it because that's a perfect like next notch up of like, is it art or is it just manufactured? I don't know, man. Even that, I don't know that I'm with you that it's commercial and it has all those elements. I just feel like and I don't watch them at all and I've kind of fallen off for sure. I get all that. And there's no question about that, like when you dig into the people lighting stuff or coloring or costumes or story, like anything, lighting, like literally, there's artistic value in every one of those like craftsmen that are making amazing stuff happen. But then if you like zoom back out into like, is creating this, I guess it's like the product, is the whole movie an artistic expression? I don't delineate even if it's like redundant or I can't think of the word.
Well, I think absolutely. I mean, there's no question it was art at the time. I mean, it still is now to us probably because of our generation.
Yeah.
But if that movie were to come out today.
Wait, which movie were we talking about?
Just Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah.
If that were to come out today, I would think differently about it. But when it came out, of course, they were following no path. It was strictly their own creation, right? Like there was no movie like that until that came out, and it set the trend.
Dude.
After that, so I can see looking back on it, like, yeah, it might have like muddied up the waters for like art and what that meant, like in the commercial popularity of it all.
Right.
But again, when they were making it, that's the art. Was the art.
I want to see if we'll take 1 second here, and I can always like cut the time if it's a problem, but let's see if we can do this just because just for the fun of trying.
He's a prolific artist.
I know, right?
It's great.
Well, it's like, and now it's become a thing. Let's see if we can do this. Wait a minute. This will be amazing if we can make this work. And if we got to call somebody just to like verify that this is something to do. He's not gonna answer.
I mean, it's the middle of the day.
I know. I mean, but he's like,
he
works from home. Damn you, Gary! He'll be so mad when he sees this.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, then, at least let me call my mom, and we'll just, so we have somebody to say hi to real quick.
How do I talk to her? From here, or turn around and talk to her?
No, I think just straight to the screen, because it's like, oh my God, even my mom is... Wait, no, it's Gary. Oh, it's my mom. Oh, it's everybody. Hi, Mama. We just wanted to say hi. We're filming our first show, and we wanted you to be part of it real quick.
A show?
All right, that's it. We gotta go, but I love you. We gotta go.
Bye.
Okay, wait. Oh no, Gary. Okay, let's see if we can get Gary back.
That was perfect.
That was perfect.
Couldn't have been better.
No. Right? Oh my God, Gary, come on, pick up. He did call back. It seemed like. Is this boring? Maybe this is boring to watch for people, but come on.
It's thrilling.
Yes! Dude, you have 2 seconds, or is this terrible? Okay, we're filming episode 0 of the Share Show. I wanted you definitely to be on it because randomly we're talking about stuff, and what came up was the argument that Back to the Future is not art, or whether Back to the Future is art. And I was trying to articulate your point, but then I'm like, I'm not doing justice here. So I was wondering if you had a second to just articulate why you think. I won't even put words in your mouth. Your thoughts on that?
Back to the Future is not art.
All right.
And done. All right, bye.
So, like, what art is for me is something that makes you feel something. And it transmits an emotion. Like, I think about this with music. Like, music is very powerful to me. First of all, like, I think it's one of the earliest forms of human communication, right? Music. Probably before we could speak as a species, we probably made music. Right? You think about percussion and things like that. And so you have this feeling, right? It's an emotional feeling, and we each have our own feelings, and we have an emotional landscape, and everyone has, they're partitioned off. Like, your emotional landscape and mine will never be contiguous, right? They'll never touch, really. But I think something like music lets me take my feelings, my emotions, and transmit them, right? It's like it's a signal to transmit emotions.
I like that. That's cool.
Translate that to art, right? And so, maybe the I don't know that I would say now, if I said it then, I'm not going to buy into, like, this is what I said before, because I don't even remember exactly what I said.
No, it's fine. You can change it.
Back to the Future, maybe it's not that it's not art, it's just bad art.
Okay.
Right? It's just, it's not good. I watched it recently, and it's like, it's just bad. It's not...
Because, like, describe that specifically. It's bad because it doesn't transmit emotion? Is that what you're saying?
What is it trying to say?
You shouldn't sleep with your mom.
Well, what?
Mission accomplished.
I would say that the Theseus, right, the Greek myth, did a much better If you're gonna, we tell stories and we tell them over and over again in different forms. But if you're gonna tell a story, that story over again, I know that was just a flip joke. But if you're gonna tell that story of like you shouldn't sleep with your mom, like you should bring something new to the table.
No, but wait, let me be real. But if I'm being real about what I think it was trying to say, I think it was trying to say like give an understanding. Talk about that art is about like communicating emotion. I think it was kind of like almost meta folding in on itself, being like understanding that the generation before you was exactly the same as you, like an understanding of the fact that you're just one more brick of the same cycle, and that was the main gist of, I mean, that's, unless Alex, I don't know if you disagree or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well,
no, I totally disagree with that. No, like
okay.
It starts off with his parents are lame and they're losers, and he's miserable and he's got a girlfriend, and then he goes back and changes things,
and he's rich.
And then he comes back into the present again at the end, and his parents are now great and everything like that. And it's just like, if anything, it's not your parents are the same. It's like little decisions that you make in life can have.
There you go.
Okay.
Questions later, right? It's kind of like
butterfly effect.
But he took away his parents' agency. Like, it's funny you should bring this up because I had this dream. I don't know if I told you this. I had this dream last week, and I told Sheila about it.
Yeah.
And it was that. For you viewers at home, I've got a college-age kid, and I had this dream that like he was back in preschool, like he was 3 or 4, and he was having challenges with his friends, and somehow like I went into his body, like my mind did, and like I fixed all these things, like I navigated all this emotion. I have my own emotional intelligence and stuff like that. Of like I'm 54, so preschoolers. Their lives aren't that complex,
Sure.
To fix all that stuff. And so I did, and then like later in the dream, like it just, how dreams work, like you're just here and then you're there, and like I did it again, and like I ended up doing this, and then like it didn't serve him at all, and it certainly didn't help me, and it's kind of that thing that you, as a parent, is just like how much you want to help and you want to fix everything, but sometimes like you have to let your kid fall off the monkey bars, and that's just it.
Right.
And so like he went back in time, and then like it's problematic to me for other reasons that are small. Like it's not Little Richard, who's the guitar player. Like he goes back in time, and he.
Oh, in the movie.
What?
In the movie, the guitar player. It's the Johnny B. Good guy.
Yeah. I'm blanking on his name because I'm old.
We'll call this the senile show.
Famous, right?
Yeah.
Little Richard played piano.
No.
But it's in that same era. You can fix it in post. You can fix it.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, but yeah. So like, I've had huge problems with like, so there's this black band playing at this school, and then this white kid comes on and teaches them rhythm and blues guitar.
That didn't age well.
I guess I should watch it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Just like, we've already, like, as much as I like the Rolling Stones and all of this, like, we've already taken, co-opted all of that culture and made it, the British invasion was just like, let's digest rhythm and blues, of the past 60 years and chew it up and spit it back out to American, to white teenage audiences in America. Like, it's just like, that's fucking horrifying, man.
Yeah.
It's so terrible.
Dude, I love it, man. Well, lots of awesome idea. Thank you for hanging out and joining us, dude. This is great.
So here's one thing I'll tell you. I'll give you feedback. I know this is just a test, but like on screen for me right now, you're wearing a black shirt, and the amount of like lint and shit on that shirt, that comes clear. It's not a black shirt. It's a gray shirt.
You're just making me feel like shit, dude. Is that the goal? Dude, maybe that's the new thing. Is lint on your shirt is like the new hot thing.
It's like a $500 T-shirt.
You didn't even realize. You're too old. No, I appreciate it, dude. Well, thanks for hanging out. We'll do this again for sure.
Also, I've been talking to the back of your head the whole time, which
I know.
is kind of a little bit disturbing.
But it's like that's the way I feel like it should be. Just like I never look at you in the eye.
Yeah, that shows too much respect.
Exactly right, dude. Lots of love, man.
Yeah, talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
I think that's interesting on the art versus entertainment. That's a good argument conversation to have.
Yeah.
On what's art, what's entertainment. Of course, they bleed over into each other naturally, but like that's Back to the Future is a very good example of could be construed as either or both to some people. Right? Was it just just for entertainment? They weren't thinking about it any more deeply than that, or were they trying to achieve some life altering message there?
Right, but yeah, it's funny because it's like talk about like whitewashing things. Like thinking back about that movie, I have all I'm thinking about is like the DeLorean and stuff, and then it's Chuck Berry. That's that dude.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
if you dive
brutal.
into your old what we grew up with, big problems all over the place. No doubt.
All right. I mean, I feel like that is that it for this first
We
zero.
should probably save something for the future,
We don't have to say everything.
or we just do this for like 10 hours and just cut it up from there.
Just be done permanently. I think it's fun. What do you think about how it's going?
Love it. Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I like the video, like doing the videos
It is. I get from his perspective, it is interesting because he probably can't see
right on there.
this all that well.
But we could even like queue up YouTube videos on there. You know what I mean? Like we could just all the content that we want to show or talk about would be cool to just we can access it and stuff. That's great.
Yeah. Next time, don't have your hand on my thigh the whole time. Maybe a little nudge here and there, but the whole time.
The only reason
kind of straight.
The only reason I'm doing
Talking
this.
47 minutes now. Straight hand on thigh.
All right. Well, I guess that's it then.
Until next time.
Share Show episode 0 out. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.